Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We want to chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. What are we celebrating today? I don't know. Maybe these need to go together. But we've got National Cabernet Franc Day today. Can never go wrong with some good wine. Cabernet Franc. Maybe, Josh, maybe we need to cancel the show today and go get a glass of wine. It might be a little early, I guess, maybe we'll be doing that by the time the show's airing on ABC News and Talk this afternoon. It might be wine time, 6:00 in the evening. I guess it will be wine time. But what else are we celebrating today? Whoa! Today's National Cookie Day. Yeah, you can't go wrong. What's your favorite cookie? Now, I did see one this morning that I'm going to have to share the recipe. It was a pretty amazing looking cookie. Now, mine, I like oatmeal cookies, oatmeal raisin walnut, chocolate chip, peanut butter, snickerdoodle. I think I've listed. Is there anything that I missed? I think I've hit almost every cookie because yes, I have beaten anorexia and I like cookies, but I saw one this morning. I've never ever heard of this cookie before, so it was a brand new one for me. And I'm not gonna sugar. Well, I guess you can't say sugar coat it when you're talking about cookies, but it was a bacon chocolate caramel cookie. Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that, but I could go for that one. I think that I might be able to deal with that kind of a cookie. That on a call I was on early this morning, we were talking about these cookies, and this one sounded pretty good. The recipe looks pretty intense, so we might have to find somebody that is good at following a recipe and making this a bacon caramel chocolate chip cookie. Bacon caramel chocolate chip cookie. Yeah. And, it's got to be good. It's got kosher salt in it. Okay, let's move right along and let's see what's going on in the markets today. We can't talk about food all day, especially, I'm at 112 pounds lost so far. Now, there's probably some people that are listening to us that barely weigh 112. So if you're thinking about that idea, no, not for the holidays, but right after the holidays, rsrlinks.com/shot, rsrlinks.com/shot. Happy to share with you what I've been doing. Is it right for you? I don't know. Now, Josh, you missed this one, though. I guess it was, you're out there in Vegas, and today's National Dice Day. So I noticed he didn't put that one on our rundown. I know you're in Vegas, but don't go to the Strip. Unless someone's in town that kind of wants to see you at the Strip, I guess is the way it works for the Las Vegans. But National Dice Day as well. I used to like to play dice. Santa's List Day. I guess I'm not on that one. Or maybe it's on the bad list. We'll see what happens there as well. But let's get back to it. The markets, what are they doing today? I'm looking at, well, I watch them all the time. So we've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 19. The NASDAQ, it's down 72 as I'm talking to you. It's dropping. The NASDAQ is down 45. S&P 500 is down 7. Oil's up 89 cents a barrel, 59.84 as we speak. 10-year Treasury's up 3 basis points, so it's above that 25 and 50-day moving averages. That's not good. We don't want to see that going in that direction. We want to see that yield on that go down. It helps us out. And yes, gas prices still very high. $2.99. It looks like it was the same as yesterday, so I bet this hasn't refreshed yet. But 299.1 is the gas prices from yesterday, as of yesterday. So, and let's see what are they doing in California? Do we want to see what they're doing in California? Yeah, there's a lot of states right now that are under $3 a gallon. Unfortunately, in California, we would like to see it get us under $4 a gallon, but we're not looking at that. Josh, you're not under 3 either, are you? No, you're probably $3.40 a gallon, $3.30 a gallon. Still a long way from where we are in California. What else is going on in the world today? Well, there's a lot of news updates. Housing market sending some interesting signals. Let's see where my notes are on this one. Redfin predicts a great housing reset for 2026. So they're expecting rates 6.3%. Home prices forecasted to rise 1% year over year. Huge contrast to recent double-digit increases. Existing home sales projected to increase about 3% to about 4.2 million. Wage growth expected to finally outpace home price growth for the first time in years. Now, think about this one because I know we hear all the time about affordability. What is affordability? Affordability is a function of 3 different items. Real wage growth. What is real wage growth? That's the wages minus inflation. Didn't have it during the last administration. We've got it now. Mortgage rates coming down a little bit and house prices going up. So inflation, we're also looking at, we're not getting good numbers, unfortunately. Well, it depends on your perspective. If you're one of those folks that are losing their job, it's unfortunate. We don't wish that on anybody, but we are seeing that that's going to help the bond market. It'll probably give the Federal Reserve a little cover for next week when they have their meeting. Mortgage rates dip. Volatility expected to continue. Rates dropped last week as markets priced in possible Fed rate cut. Now, remember, the Fed cuts their discount rate. They do not cut mortgage rates. What drives mortgage rates is the mortgage-backed security and how valuable or invaluable that is in the bond market. So when the bond market sees that they like the mortgage-backed security, that's the place they want to invest, that bond goes up. Bond up, rates down. Not going to get a lot of economic data before the next Fed meeting on the 10th. Single-family construction loan volume rose in the third quarter. Builders are gaining confidence. If you're thinking about buying a new build home, got to give us a call ahead of time before you go and finance it. How'd you like to finance that new build home for more than you pay for it? Yeah, I get it. There's going to be a lot of expenses when you buy a new home. You got hardscape, landscape, window coverings. You might want to upgrade the carpet. You might want to upgrade flooring, cabinets. Well, there are loans out there that'll allow you to do all that renovation work and build it into your loan. Most builders don't have that loan. We do. The Mortgage Bankers Association challenging credit bureau fees increases while renters remained burdened. California renters at 55% of their income is going to rent. Florida's at 60%. Nevada, 57%. 24% nationwide. 50% of American renters, that's 23 million households, are cost burdened, spending 30% or more of their income on housing. A lot of news out there in the marketplaces. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. Want to retire on $18,000 a month? No 401k, no IRA, no taxes, and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payments. What did rates lock at yesterday? Again, this is OBMMI's data. Rates yesterday, well, let's take a look at them. If you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv or any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing that it was a clean sweep across the board. One of my favorite times to see red, because all the arrows on the slide show that rates are dropping yesterday. Conventional 30-year fixed down 6.17. Jumbo 30-year fixed 6.431. FHA 30-year fixed 5.985. VA 30-year fixed 5.792. USDA 30-year fixed 5.961. Every one of those were down. If you want our thoughts about the market, rsrlinks.com/HBOD, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. We put it in the Ron Siegel Radio community, and if you're not a member, you should be. rsrlinks.com/HBOD. So let's take a look and let's see, what are rates doing today? We've got the S&P 500 is up 6.36 as I speak to you. 10-year Treasury is up almost 4 basis points, 4.10. The mortgage bond is down 9 basis points. That means rates are up based on that bond. Let's see. What's driving all the market? Americans are going to spend $26 billion on buy now, pay later during the holidays. Not a good thing. If you're, what that tells you is when you see buy now, pay later being that big, you're basically saying that credit cards are maxed out. You don't have any cash. Savings are gone. So it's buy now, pay later is where a lot of that comes from. Not the best financing plans in the world. And what else is going on? So it's kind of quiet. Initial jobless claims measures individuals buying for unemployment benefits for the very first time fell 27,000 to 191,000. Very low number, well beneath estimates, but this was for last week. Let's see. Celebrate Thanksgiving or file for unemployment. I think we know what happened. That's what causes figures to be skewed, as it usually does. Continuing claims, those continuing to file for unemployment benefits after their initial claim, fell slightly to 1.94 million, but still remained elevated at some of the highest levels since 2021. Initial jobless claims showed that firings remain muted. Job cut announcements have been on the rise. Challenger reported that in November, there were 71,000 job cut announcements. That's lower than the huge figure seen in October, but is very high for a November and up 24% from last year. Year to date, the amount of job cut announcements is the highest since COVID. Hiring plans year to date are the lowest since 2010, which is during the great financial crisis. Lastly, the amount of seasonal hiring plans is the lowest since 2012. Just another labor report that underscores the weak trend we've been seeing in the jobs market. Now, tomorrow at 7 o'clock our time, we're going to get the delayed September personal consumption expenditures report. PCE is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. Now, be aware, this is September. This September's report. Very, very, very old. So going into the report, the market's pricing in a 90% chance of a Fed rate cut of 25% next week at their meeting on Wednesday. Yesterday's ADP report showed 32,000 job losses in November, really solidified the reason for the Fed needs to cut to get ahead of the labor market weakness. But tomorrow's inflation report, even though it's old, you know what I think of the Fed.
Such an idiot.
Yeah, not smart.
Such an idiot.
Could impact the odds of a cut depending on the results. And being that the Fed is in their quiet period, we're not going to hear from them. But the mole, Nick Timmeros, he may have an article for us over the weekend. Market is expecting headline and core inflation to come in at 0.3%, 0.2% respectively. Based on the replacements, the market is forecasting the headline PCE will increase from 2.7% year over year and the core to remain at 2.9% year over year. It will not take much for core to decline to 2.8 and will likely depend on what happens with shelter, which is one of the largest components. If it follows the CPI shelter reading, which it often does, it should be well behaved. Additionally, the PPI components that are shared with PCE report and have roughly a 12% influence were all cool in the aggregate. Something that has been talked about a lot in the past, the impact of tariffs. They are real and are causing some impact, but we believe a 0.3% to 0.4% temporary skew higher. The latest import prices report is showing that they are not the boogeyman everyone appears to be afraid of. Import prices were flat in September and are up 0.3% year over year. Bottom line, we believe at worst that the core inflation remains at 2.9 as expected, but there is a good chance it comes in a tenth cooler and falls to 2.8. In either scenario, it could not make the odds of a rate cut worse. And if it falls, increase the reasons the Fed should cut rates. And if the Fed does cut, it should help mortgage rates decline. This Fed meeting will include their projections and a press conference, which could also impact what happens with rates as well. Remember, when Powell, the Grinch, speaks, the market declines. It goes against us. Cotality Home Price Index, they reported that home values declined 0.2% nationwide in October, which is in line with some of the other seasonally adjusted measures we have seen. Year over year, home prices are up 1.1%, but that figure has been decelerating and is the slowest year over year growth reported since 2012. The optimistic part of the report is what Cotality feels lies ahead. They're projecting home values to rise very slightly in November and increase 4.3% in the year ahead. Clearly, they believe that interest rates will fall, which will drive more demand and cause upward pressure on home prices. This does provide an opportunity now to get ahead of it. Make sure that you're understanding this when you're making your decisions about what to do. We've got a real estate report card and appreciation calculator that can show you appreciation forecasts in your area. All you need to do is ask us. 800-306-1990. We'll get it to you. Send us a smoke signal, whatever you need. All you have to do is just ask and we'll get it to you, because we've got by zip code. We've got by address. All there for you. You just have to ask for it and we'll get it to you. So pretty simple stuff right there. I think we're going to go to a break right now, Josh, and we'll do our workshop when we get back. Retiring on 18. Well, first we're going to do why more homeowners are giving up their low mortgage rate, and then we'll do retiring on $18,000 a month. No IRA, no 401k, no taxes. How do you do that without taxes? We will explain it. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you missed any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. And I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Why more homeowners are giving up their low mortgage rate. If you're like a lot of homeowners, you probably thought, I'd like to move, but I don't want to give up my 3% rate. That's fair. That rate has been one of your best financial wins, and it can be hard to let go. But here's what you need to remember. A great rate won't make up for a home that no longer works for you. Life changes, and sometimes your home needs to change with it. And you're not the only one making that choice. The lock-in effect is starting to ease. Many homeowners have been frozen in place by something the experts call the lock-in effect. That's when you won't move because you don't want to take on a higher rate on your next home loan. But data from the Federal Housing Finance Agency shows the lock-in effect is slowly starting to ease for some people. The share of homeowners with a mortgage rate below 3%, if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or our socials or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed, you are seeing a chart. The yellow in the graph is slowly declining as more people move. And while some of the people with a rate over 6% are first-time buyers, the number of homeowners with a rate above 6%, that's the blue part, is rising as others take on higher rates for their next home. And while it may not seem that dramatic, it's actually a pretty noteworthy shift. The share of mortgages with a rate above 6% just hit a 10-year high. And yes, that's the next graph that we're going to show you. That shows more people are getting used to today's rates as the new normal. It was the normal for a long, long time. These rates are actually below where the normal's been historically. It's about a little over 7%. Why are more people moving now? It means taking on a higher rate. Well, it's simple. Sometimes they can't put life on pause anymore. Families grow, jobs change, priorities shift. And a house that once fit perfectly may not fit at all anymore, no matter how good their rate was, and that's okay. As Chen Zhao, head of economic research at Redfin, explains, quote, more homeowners are deciding it's worth moving even if it means giving up a low mortgage rate. Life doesn't stand still. People get new jobs, grow their families, downsize, or I say right size after retirement, or simply want to live in a different neighborhood. Those needs are starting to outweigh the financial benefit of clinging to a rock bottom mortgage rate, unquote. First American refers to these motivators as the 5 Ds. Diplomas, people with college degrees, typically earn more and that adds up to more buying power. Maybe you bought your house when you were younger, and now that you've graduated, have a rising career, you're ready to move. Diapers. You've outgrown your space. If you're welcoming a new baby, your current home might not be cutting it anymore. Divorce. Whether it's ending a marriage or starting one, it can create the need for a new place to call home. Downsizing. You're ready to downsize. Maybe the kids have moved out and it's time to simplify. Smaller house, less maintenance, more freedom. Death. If you've recently lost a loved one, maybe you've realized you want to be closer to family. That's too short to live far from the people who matter most. Whatever your reason, here's what you need to think about. Yes, your low rate is great, but staying put means your life may stay on hold, and maybe that's not working for you anymore. According to Realtor.com, nearly 2 in 3 potential sellers have already been thinking about moving for over a year. That's a long time to press pause on your plans, on your needs, on your family's goals. So maybe the question isn't, should I move? It's actually, how much longer am I willing to stay somewhere that no longer fits my life? Because we've already seen rates come down from their peak earlier this year, and they're expected to ease a bit more in 2026. When you stack that on top of the very real reasons you may need a new home, it may be enough to finally move the needle for you. Bottom line, if life doesn't wait for the perfect rate, maybe you shouldn't either. With mortgage rates down from their peak and forecasted dip slightly more in 2026, moving may be more feasible than you think. If you're ready to see what's possible in our market, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Hey, let me ask you a question, just thinking about that report. If you've got that 2 or 3% interest rate, that means you've been in your property at least 3 or 4 years, or you've got a bunch of equity in your property. Why sell? Here's a strategy, because you know my feeling, and I'm right, strategy beats rate always. Take out a home equity line of credit on your existing property. Don't go crazy on it, but get that home equity line of credit. That's going to be your down payment money for the new property. Now, when you buy the new property, you're going to keep the old property and rent it, because with that 2 or 3% mortgage rate, the likelihood is that, number one, you've got equity, and number two, it's going to rent for more than what you're currently paying. Now, what does that mean? That means you've got another piece of property, Orange County, California, Riverside, California, San Bernardino, San Diego, Los Angeles. You're all appreciating at about 5% per year, maybe a little bit more. That's on a long-term basis. I'm not forecasting or guaranteeing the future, but I'm just saying, if you look back, 5% is a historic number. If that property keeps growing at 5%, you buy a new one and that one grows at 5%. Well, now what you're going to do is you're going to refi the new one down the road when you've got equity there, pay off that higher interest rate home equity line of credit that you're taking out now. And now you've got 2 properties that are appreciating. One you're paying the mortgage on, one somebody else is paying the mortgage for you. Just throwing that out there for you, because you know what I feel. Strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, retiring on $18,000 a month, no 401k, no IRA, no taxes. And we'll see if we can fit in maybe a couple other thoughts for you as well. Maybe we could talk about the strategic refi. Maybe we'll see what else we come up with. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing real estate, current events, financial markets. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. So we've talked about this a lot in the past. A workshop for you. Yeah, I love doing this workshop because we've done it. It hasn't been done it in a long time, but it's amazing how some strategies just endure the test of time. Want to retire on $18,000 a month, no 401k, no IRA, and no taxes. Yeah, anytime we talk about no taxes, I like that conversation. So we always start this talking about the idea of investments and what makes a good investment, what makes a bad investment, what are you looking for in your investments? So let's think about this investment right here. And then now while I go through this, you need to think closely and tell me how much money you would deposit in an investment that has the following characteristics. You can determine the amount of monthly contributions and length of time for each of the contributions to continue. Okay? You could pay more than the minimum monthly contribution, but not less. If you attempt to pay less, the financial institution keeps all of the previous contributions. You lose your money. The money in the account is not liquid. The money deposited in the account is not safe from loss. So I get to put my money in. I have to make the contributions. If I don't make the contributions, I can lose all my money, and it's not safe. Each contribution made to the account results in less safety of principal. Wow. The money deposited in the account earns 0% rate of return. I don't even get to make money. Your income tax liability increases with each new contribution. When the plan is fully funded, there is no income paid out to you, the investor. Doesn't exactly sound like where I want to put too much money. Now, where do I like putting money? Well, I want to put my money in an account that is liquid. I can get at it. I can touch it if I need to. I want an account that is safe, guaranteed, or insured. Now, remember, when you're talking about investing, the only thing that a licensed advisor can tell you is guaranteed is treasuries. If they're supported by the full faith of the United States government, then you can say it's guaranteed. Nothing else can be say it's guaranteed. But insured, it's pretty good. What rate of return can I likely get? You want to get a good rate of return, and are there tax benefits associated with the investment? I like the idea of tax benefits with any investment because think about this. If you're in the 30% effective tax rate, well, you have to look and you say, okay, if I earn $1, 30 cents is going to the government. Well, if I do the investment that we're going to talk about, what we're going to share with you is no, the government doesn't get their grubby hands on it. Now, they might sometime down the road, depending upon how it's structured. Now, when I talk about this program, it's very, very simple. And I've been sharing this. Oh boy, it's got to be, well, I think it's before we started doing the radio show in 2010. So I've been going, and I look at the numbers on this, and the numbers work as well today as they did before. So I look at it and I say, okay, over the last 63 years, we've had a rate of return on real estate in California of Orange County, 5.35%. That's been the rate of return, 5.35% rate of return in California or in Orange County. And some of the surrounding counties, it varies, but it's all over 5%. So I'm going to say, what happens if we plug that into our system? Now, where we start with this is those people that have had a property for any length of time. Now, when I started this, a $630,000 property value was a good number for the state of California. That was a median home price. Right now, believe it or not, the number is double. It's a little more than double for Orange County. And if I did this, if I just changed that number to 1.2 million, well, now you can retire on $38,000 a month. Josh, we might have to change the headline of this one because I like that $38,000 a month on a retirement income, monthly income. $38,000, 18,000 is good. 38,000 sounds even better. But let's go back and I'm going to change the value, and we're going to do all these numbers based on $1 million property value. Okay, so on $1 million property value, that's valued now at $1 million. You bought it, maybe before COVID, it went up a lot. But right now you're going to liberate, and we're looking at a interest rate of 7.2%. Okay, so where did I put that in there? I'm sorry, we're looking at we're taking to 7 points. So here's the number. We're gonna do a mortgage on this of $800,000 on this property. So it's giving us $200,000 that we can liberate from the property. What I mean is by liberate is you're taking that out. Now we're putting that money into a safe, secure investment. And the safe, secure investments grow at historically over a 30-year period. The safe, secure investments are growing at around 8%. But I used 7.2. Why did I use 7.2 instead of using the 8% or 7% or 7.5? I like 7.2. Why? Because it's simple. The math is simple. So at 7.2%, that means it's a rule of 72. You take 72, divide your rate of return, 7.2, and that tells you how often your money doubles. So being that 7.2 into 72 is 10, so we're looking at every 10 years, your money's going to double in this process. So remember, we took our property value, that's $1 million. We took and got a mortgage of $800,000. We liberated $200,000. Remember, we're going to put that into a safe, secure investment that's liquid, safe, guaranteed or insured, getting us a good rate of return, and there are tax benefits with this program. So we put that $200,000 in. It's going to grow. Year one, it's $200,000 because we just put it in there. It's going to grow to $214,000 the next year, compounding $229,000, compounding $246,000, $264,000. And by year 5, that account is now worth $283,142. Now, we're going to liberate more money. Got to liberate more money. So we're going to take out we're going to do a new loan, and that new loan is going to be $1,038,000. Okay. So, something, I actually did this wrong. The amount that we have available is $283,000. That compounded to $200,000, $214,000, $229,000, $246,000, $264,000. $283,000 is the amount that we're going to liberate, or is what's available, the appreciation there. And we're going to liberate now the second go around. That's after 5 years. We're liberating $238,156. We're going to add that to the amount of money, that first $200,000, and we're going to let that grow. And the property is going to keep growing. Property values will keep appreciating. We're going to liberate in year 10, $309,000. Remember, we're continuing to grow our side money, that our safe, secure investment, that's still growing. Year 15, we're going to liberate another $400,000 because that property is appreciated now. The value is now at $2.1 million. So we're doing a loan at 1.748, about call it $1.3 million. We're liberating another $400,000. We're putting that into the side account that keeps on growing, into our investment account. that's growing and growing. Year 20, the property value is now 2.8 million. We're going to take out another 520,000. We're putting that into our side account that's grown up to $2.7 million. I got to have that side account just keep on growing there. Now, every time you take money or liberate money from your property, that is not a taxable event. Not taxable. You're borrowing money. You owe that money. You got to pay it back. So it's not income. It's taxable. Now, in year 25, we're going to liberate another 675,000 because our properties have appreciated to 3.7 million. You say, Ron, my house is not going to be worth 3.7 million in 25 years. Ask your parents or grandparents what their property was worth 25 years ago. I can't ask mine, but I can look back historically and see that my parents paid for their house. I think it was $195,000 in 1984, and it's worth 1.6 million right now. That same property is worth 1.6 million, 1.7 million, something like that. So now after 30 years of your side account, your investment accounts growing, here's what our portfolio looks like. We've got a property that's worth $4.7 million. We've got a mortgage on that at $2.9 million. We've got a investment account that has $7.5 million in it. Now, what do we do with $7.5 million? Anything you want to do with $7.5 million. So what could you do? Your net worth at this time is $9.3 million. How do we get $9.3 million? Well, we're taking and adding up the investment account, the property value that's appreciated at the 5.3%, or did I do 5.3 or 5.0? Yeah, 5.35. If it does the same thing over the next 30 years that it's done over the last 63, we don't guarantee that. It's worth 4.7 million. You add the side account to it of 7.5 million, and you have to subtract the mortgage. So we've got net worth of $9 million, $9.4 million just about. Now, what do? You can live in that property and just continue to take $31,486 a month out of the property, out of your investment account, not out of the property, but out of your investment account. $31,500. Call it $31,500. We're just rounding up by $14. So call it $31,500 you're taking out. Yes, you do have to make a mortgage payment in that scenario, but think about where your mortgage payment is going to be, considering easy to take care of it that way. You got a net distribution of probably about $25,000. Love it. So, or you could just pay off the mortgage. And if you pay off the mortgage, you're going to live off of $19,000. You got to enjoy these kind of things. These are just numbers that we plug in and look at them and say, the numbers are staggering. Living off of $31,000 a month. Now, if that's today's dollars, it's great. It's not going to be worth as much when we talk about this 30 years from now. But when I started talking about this, we were talking about $18,000 a month 15 years ago. And I'd say, how'd you like to live off of $18,000 a month? And people started looking at me, that's awesome. Now, how'd you like to live off of $18,000 today, 20 years later? Same scenario is going to play out when we start saying, okay, you're looking at $31,000 or $31,000 a month down the road. It's still going to be all in the same world. You're living off of strategic refinancing and using your property strategically. So yeah, you can do all of these things and the numbers just work. And many of you have that property values. See, the questions people get, well, Ron, what if interest rates are higher? Well, then the likelihood is your return is going to be higher. What if interest rates are lower? Well, your return is going to be lower, but your expense is going to be lower. So we don't care what interest rates do. All we care about is consistency. We have a plan, we execute. So 18,000 a month, the way we talked about it 15, 20 years ago, or 31,000 a month, the way we're talking about it today. The choice is yours. That's our workshop for you today. Borrow Smart, brought to you by gethomeselect.com, gethomeselect.com. As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.